Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hi everyone. We continue with the Chrysalids and we reached chapter 13, and I chose to slow down a little bit. Okay, so we'll take only chapter 13 today. Something happened in chapter 12. Maybe I didn't mention it last time. At the end of the last chapter, which is chapter 12, David wakes up to find Rosalind shocked in front of the man she had to kill. So now you can understand that they took shifts in watching, and it was the time or the shift of Rosalind, and David was asleep, and Petra. So Rosalind noticed some movement, and there was a man coming to attack them. So she had to attack back, so she killed him. And of course, you can understand that, for example, a lady or a young woman killing someone for the first time, it is a little bit tough. You might ask yourself, will the second time be easier? Yep. You do a thing for the first time and it is tough, and you do it again, it's easier. The more you do it, it's easier. That's why if we talk about sins, if you stop yourself from doing or making a sin or committing a sin from the beginning, it will be easier for you to say no. If you start experimenting and doing, so it will be easier after that. Just advice. Anyway, so Michael assured her that this is war, and if you didn't kill him, he would sure kill you. So again in this chapter, David and Rosalind fire arrows at another man. So another man was following them. David tried to use his rifle, but Rosalind was faster. You remember I told you Rosalind is more practical. So the man shoots back, but Rosalind shoots the man's horse in the chest. So the man is thrown away. The problem is the horse, wounded, but he left its rider and went into the woods. So it is not a good thing, because anyone who can see a wounded horse would think someone shoot him or shoot it. So the people will be suspicious. Anyway, they had to escape quickly and leave this place. After a few miles, the forest comes to an end, and they have to cross a large area of farms. Okay, so they will encounter what we call crops, and the crops you can expect to be unrecognizable. So tomato is red, and you can hold it in your hand. So maybe there it will be gray and as big as a watermelon. Okay, and you find trees that crawling on the ground. A lot of things you can imagine and you can read it. As they are crossing this area, they come upon new people. They ride quickly by them while the people scatter in alarm. You can tell from this that they reached the fringes, and these people are outcasts. So they ride again through the forest for a while, and they choose a resting place. Petra begins her conversation anew with the Sealand woman. Okay, sometimes you'll find it Zealand or Sealand, it doesn't matter. Okay, Petra only can make this conversation because the woman is very far away, as we said before, and when Petra does this, the others have to block their minds, otherwise they will be affected by the strength of Petra's transmission, if we can say. Petra has to use a lot of force to communicate with her because she's so far away. And thus David and Rosalind are blinded by the explosion. It's like an explosion in their mind when Petra started communicating. So after that, they warned her, or they asked her to give them warning before she starts such a thing. David and Rosalind must rely on Petra because their ability is not as strong as hers. So they have to depend on Petra to communicate what she is learning from the woman. So Petra relays the Sealand woman's thoughts in a very simple way, still young. Okay. What did she learn from her? The general message that the woman wants to deliver to David and Rosalind is that Petra has to be kept by all costs because she is very valuable. She has a very valuable power. The Sealand woman never received a signal from a child that far away. So for her, the ability of Petra is something valuable that she has to protect. Therefore, they are sending help. Okay, so now there is like a rescue on the way, but of course it will take time because, as we said, they are far away. How will they cross the sea and the Badlands and so on? If you can imagine it or think about it, you will think about technology. They have modern technology. They have planes, something of the sort. Now Michael is confused because it seems to him that the Sealand woman is referring to their kind as primitive people. Here is one of the themes of the novel, that someone should not think of himself as perfect, should not think of his race as the best, because life goes on. The best becomes, I will not say worst, but let's say less in rank after that. Nothing remains perfect in life. If you read history, you'll find great kingdoms which lasted whatever it lasted, how long it lasted, but at the end they have to collapse. This is the way of the world. So people might be advanced now, later on other people will be more advanced, and so on. So we have to accept this. Also, it seems unlikely to him that the Sealand woman is located to the southwest. This is the way Petra showed them the direction from where the Sealand woman is coming. Southwest, we know before that it is called Badlands. The radiation is very high, so they don't expect anyone to cross it or live there. We will learn about it later. David asks about Sally and Catherine. You remember? Don't forget, Sally and Catherine were captured. Catherine may be dead, unfortunately, because she stopped communicating. And they have only heard very weak signals from Sally because she was tortured. And why are they torturing them? You will read later on that these people of Waknak are afraid of this group. Number one, because they can live among them without showing any signals of mutation. And number two, they don't know about their abilities. They don't know what they can do. They don't know the number of them. So a human being is always an enemy of what he doesn't know. So authorities are clearly afraid of their kind. Michael is afraid of what might happen if they capture Petra and Rosalind. They might, of course, torture them as they did with Catherine and Sally. So he advises David, a harsh thing he will say, to kill the two of them if it seems likely. So they will be tortured and die at the end. So he advised David, if they were captured, to kill them first. And of course this will put Petra in panic. Petra hears this and is alarmed. David calms her and asks her to keep it a secret from Rosalind, and he said, this is like a very little percentage. There is little possibility of this to happen. Don't worry. Okay, Petra relates some more things she learned about Sealand. Everyone there can make thought shapes. Wow. So if they will go there, they will be among their kind. And no one is punished for it, not like in Wagner. The Sealand lady has told her that when it is taken from the novel, so Petra was talking about herself. When Petra, grow up, I must have babies who can make strong think pictures too. So the Sealand woman wants Petra to live among them so that later on in the future, when she marries, she has babies who can have this great strength of sending thought shapes. Okay. Okay. Again, David, Rosalind, and Petra they continue their way. They make their way through the forest in the dark, and shots are fired at them. Of course, these shots will frighten the horses, so their horses run through the forest. Uh, and of course, they think they are in the French, because of course you can expect that the French would protect their borders. They might think they are from Waknak and they are coming to attack them. So, expectedly, they fire at them. Then suddenly something drops into David's pannier. You remember the huge horses? There are like panniers, like big baskets, on the two sides of each horse. David was like sleeping in one, and Petra in another, and Rosalind on the other horse. So David was asleep, and suddenly someone jumped over him, knocked him over his head, and he lost consciousness. And by doing so, this is the end of chapter 13.